Hey guys, this is Sean with Hidden LLC, and today I wanted to walk you through the process of how we go about casting a copy of one of our pillar models in Arena Grand Champions. This is going to be a quick little video. If people want to see more of the technical detail behind it, I would be more than happy to do so, go more in depth on the process and what's going on exactly. But anyway, let's get started. So to start out with, we've got our mold of our pillar. It's a two-part mold. It's all buttoned up, nice and ready to go. We've got a mixing cup, stirring stick, and then here's where the magic happens. We have part A and part B of a two-part liquid resin. What this means is when I pour these two things together and mix them up, they are going to react with each other and go from their liquid state to a solid state. There's nothing special about part A, but part B has been tinted in a gray color, and it has also had metallic casting powder mixed into it to give the finished piece a really nice sparkle and shine. So to get started, we're going to take our bigger mixing cup, two smaller ones, part A, part B. Now when I pour these together, I get about 2 minutes of working time before they go from being complete liquid to still liquid, but way less workable. So I'm just going to tap my cups a couple times, make sure I get all the resin in there. Set those aside. Then I'm going to start mixing. I'm going to mix for about 30 seconds. And the way these two liquids react with each other, it's an exothermic reaction. So they actually heat up when mixed together, and that's what forms the solid. So like in this instance, if I lose count of how long I've been stirring, I can kind of tell by the heat that's starting to come off the cup. Just going to get a really good mix in there. We want these to be as thoroughly mixed as possible. And the cup's starting to get warm, so I think we should be ready to go. All right, so liquid resin all mixed together, clock's ticking. We're gonna pour in our liquid until the mold's about 3/4 of the way full. And the reason why I haven't poured it all in just yet is because I will then rotate it around and let that liquid flow onto every surface on the inside. What this does is it just gets the inside of it nice and coated so that hopefully we will avoid air bubbles in the final piece that I'm going to have to clean up later. It's always nice to skip that step. So after rotating it around a couple times, I'm pretty happy. We're going to go ahead and pour the rest in there. So our resin is now filled up past the end of the model and into the pouring spout. And now there's probably air bubbles trapped in this top cavity right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to tap the mold and try to force some of those air bubbles out of there. Because like I said, if an air bubble ends up being in the surface of the finished piece, then we got to clean it up. I'm just going to tap the mold a couple times. The more air bubbles I see coming out, the happier I am, because the more confident I am that none are left in there. So I usually expect about 3 or 4 decent sized bubbles to come out. After that, I think I'm pretty much in the clear, because we also have air vents right here that are helping the resin escape. Not the resin, the air escape. So our resin's starting to get a little sluggish, but I'm just going to pour a little bit more in there just to make sure that while I do my final rotation, the resin doesn't slosh around so much that we end up putting air back into the mold when I just spent all that time and effort into tapping them out. So we're just going to work it around, make sure that liquid is flowing all through the mold, getting in every little nook and cranny, capturing every little detail. And at this point, as you can see, it's kind of flowing real sluggishly right now, kind of like marmalade or something like that. And that's a sign that we are about done working with it. Now all that's left to do is sit and wait for it to turn into a complete solid, which takes about an hour. And then after an hour, we can pull apart the two parts of the mold and release our finished piece. And I will come back and show you what that looks like. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us. And we hope to see you soon. Thanks. Alright guys, so I lost audio for this part of the video, so I'm just doing a little voiceover to walk you through what's going on. So it's been about an hour, our resin's cured, and we can unstrap everything and pop our model out of the mold. Here's what the mold looks like. And we just have a couple things that we have to do before we can toss this in the bag with all the other copies that I've made. As you can see there, we've got our pouring spout and our two air vents. We just need to trim those off. I like to do this about after an hour or two while the plastic is not soft enough that I can bend it by doing this, but still not totally solid to the point where I can't easily saw through it with a knife. And so once that's off, just got to trim that down as flat as possible. And then there's a view of the finished piece. Now you notice this flashing right here along the seam line. We can clean that up later using just our fingernail or a sharp knife. And that may be in another video. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.